Tymisha Miller was pregnant with her unborn child when she lost her life yesterday. And so, yes, we're learning more from police who are telling us that it is now a double homicide.
And I think that shows the lack of disregard for public safety and the lack of disregard for essentially a human being when people are just that cavalier and that flamboyant that they're just going to go out and just open fire on a crowd of people with police officers in marked cars half a block away.
It's definitely concerning to know that these individuals were firing at a crowd, Jasmine, with a large people there and police only a few blocks away.
There were
30
kids
seconds.
there.
Yes, and police said today there were kids as young as 3 years old.
I believe the community needs a help with healing our community. These children have been rejected, abandoned, and they're angry. And we need to come together collectively and figure out a way, not just have a meeting. This is not just a police matter. This is a community matter.
Just before 6 p.m. on May 13th, Harrisburg police responded to the area of North 4th and Woodbine Streets after hearing the sounds of gunshots. Within 30 seconds, they would stumble upon a chaotic scene and an unresponsive teenage girl lying on the porch of a home.
Yes, Susan, the coroner reporting this morning that the victims in this case, their deaths have been ruled homicides. The mother died as a result of a gunshot to the back. Police said that the shooting happened about 5:45 p.m. last night at 4th and Woodbine. It's the second homicide to happen within a couple blocks of each other in the area of Woodbine Street in roughly a week and a half.
It seems very mundane or very easy or very simple or a robotic gesture for me to say that it's a tragedy. I am so sick and tired of saying that it's a tragedy. Yes, it's a tragedy, but how are we going to stop this?
The victim was identified as 19-year-old expecting mother Tymisha Miller, who was rushed to a local hospital where she was sadly passed away after succumbing to a gunshot wound to the back. Tymisha's unborn son was also pronounced dead, with the cause of death being asphyxia due to maternal death. She was 5 months pregnant, and the crazy thing is, she always wanted a boy and actually thought she was having a girl. A look into the case revealed that the shooter fired multiple shots into a crowd of people who were standing on the porch of a home, striking Tymisha in the back. Police stated that it wasn't clear if there was one or multiple shooters or how many shots were fired. Responding officers heard the shots as they were in marked patrol vehicles just half a block away. Officers arrived at the scene within 30 seconds, where they would find numerous shell casings matching the audio indicating multiple shots were fired. The Dauphin County District Attorney's Office is reporting the shooting as a double homicide.
We are live where Tymisha Miller was shot and killed. There's a memorial out here. Her family, friends still gathered here. Let's take a walk so you can see this memorial. We've been out here since 11 a.m. and it has grown a lot. You see candles here, there's balloons here, there's flowers here, people even writing notes on the balloon for Miller. Just take a look at it so you can see. They've even covered it up because it started raining. You could tell a lot of people, they cared about her, and they're just visibly upset and understandably hurt by her passing. And I had the chance to speak with family and friends earlier, and they told me how they'll remember her and who she was.
It's crazy this has happened to her. This ain't right.
Family, friends, and neighbors gather in the area of North 4th and Woodbine Streets, where the mother-to-be 19-year-old Tymisha Miller was shot and killed. Kayla Simmons says she helped raise Miller.
I'm gonna miss my baby girl.
She had a tribe that supported her. They were ready to extend that support to her soon-to-be baby.
She was about to welcome her first child.
She was going to be due in 4 months.
Her childhood friend Leonie says Miller already had a baby name picked out.
Izaria. Her mom passed away, so she couldn't wait to have her own. She wanted to better herself to be there for her daughter.
Matt Mazel, a spokesperson for the city of Harrisburg, says last year Harrisburg had 13 homicides, the lowest in 12 years. Miller's death and her baby's death brings us up to 7 this year.
It's hurtful.
She was my gift.
She was a butterfly, my shooting star.
Police have also asked Public Works to trim bushes in the area near Governor Square and Atlas Alley to have fewer hiding places for potential suspects and discarded firearms. In response to the murders, residents in the community and additional volunteers took it upon themselves to host a community cleanup project. They say they want their neighborhood back, and something as simple as this is the first step.
When my nephew got murdered last week, it sparked.
Richard Brown, CEO of Men United Standing Together, says enough is enough. 27-year-old Christian Watt was shot to death inside this store in Uptown nearly 2 weeks ago.
The White House next to the Bays one, that first one right there. I used to live in there for years.
Brown says he lived in the area where his nephew was shot and killed and says it's gotten worse over the years. Karen Gibson agrees.
Just a lot of violence, a lot of killing. It's just real bad. It's like a lot of drug stuff going on around here.
Gibson's mom has lived in the area for a little over 2 decades. Vulgar graffiti, several buildings left abandoned, overgrown grass, and litter can be seen throughout, including on a playground meant for kids.
It's horrible. It's horrible. It's not a good place to live no more.
People squatting in these and just making a whole mess. Like I said, when I came by earlier, there was a girl out there with a whole bed laying on the porch.
Monday, the community came together, being the difference they want to see.
Eliminating crime by environmental design. So if you clean up the area that you live in, people are less likely to commit crimes and do things in that area.
Harrisburg City Councilman Lamont Jones and Brown, some of the leaders igniting the change. The group spent hours cleaning up the overgrown grass, abandoned tires, litter, and more to create a better area. They hope for it to be filled with less crime in the future.
I think it's really great that they're doing that.
And I think if we continue this, we can have a better community here in the Uptown area.
The beginning of future cleanups.
I think all church leaders need to be involved, all community legislators, politics, therapists, whatever we need to do to get together and figure this out. We need to heal our community and stop some of the senseless killings.
I mean, we're talking about a pregnant 19-year-old girl expecting a baby boy in 4 months.
I know. And that was near and dear and close to my heart. And I was one of those people as well that sat back and said, okay, I'm going to let these other people handle it. But 2 or 3 organizations cannot take care of this matter. This is kingdom building. This is a community event that needs to take place so we can have safe neighborhoods like we used to have when I was a child in Harrisburg.
You are involved with a New Tomorrow. Tell us a little bit about how you think you'll step up and help in this situation.
Well, I'm a New Tomorrow. We deal with reentry services, but we also collaborate with Breaking the Chain. That's how I got this opportunity with y'all. Dr. Kevin Dolphin was away, and he was like, step in. You need to tell people how you feel about this. You have a connection in the community. We all deal with reentry services. We help people coming back in the community. I was a person in the community that took from the community. So it's my responsibility now that my life has changed to get back in there and do something to help the people who are still there.
While the investigation is in its early stages, investigators have no evidence to suggest Tamisha was the intended target. Harrisburg police, along with family, are encouraging anyone with additional information to come forward. The case remains ongoing.
Hello, good afternoon. Yesterday, on the 13th at approximately 17:39 hours, up on 4th Street, Woodbine and 4th, we had shots fired in the 2100 block of North 4th Street. There was a crowd of people out there, and a person or persons fired into a crowd where there were adults and young kids. Upon hearing the shots, people fled. Police were in the next block. They arrived on location within 30 seconds. Upon arriving, they located an unknown female who had been hit by gunfire. They rendered first aid, called a medical unit. The young lady, Tanisha Miller, black female, 19 years old, was taken to a local hospital. She was worked on. She succumbed to her injuries. The investigation started at that incident we locked down the whole area. We located numerous casings. I don't know how many times she was struck, but we have videotape with sound on it, and you could hear several gunshots going off. I believe that she was hit in her left side. The bullet entered on the left side, and I believe it exited, and my lieutenant here, correct me if I'm wrong, it exited her right side, so it was a through and through wound. It was a severe wound, obviously, a wound that couldn't be fixed. Upon examination of Ms. Miller, it was learned that she was pregnant. She, I believe, approximately 5 months pregnant, and both the fetus and the young lady succumbed to the injuries. The investigation is ongoing right now. We are getting some information, some leads, but not enough that's going to give us what we need to be able to locate the shooter or shooters. My detectives in uniform have been out all night. They're back up there in the area trying to locate witnesses. We did have one witness down here yesterday, but that didn't really work out at that time. Hopefully things will change later on. So it seems very mundane or very easy or very simple or a robotic gesture for me to say that it's a tragedy. I am so sick and tired of saying that it's a tragedy. Yes, it's a tragedy, but how are we going to stop this? Yesterday, we had a whole detail out with my street crimes unit. We had the state police out, and we had my street crimes unit working side by side to stop incidents such as this, stop these random shootings. And they were 30 seconds off. They were in the right neighborhood, but just 30 seconds off. 30 seconds off. We are trying, but this hurts. Every homicide in this city hurts, but this really hurts because you have a 19-year-old female who was pregnant that was gunned down. I can't say that she was the target or anything like that, but who in their right mind would just shoot into a crowd of people where there are little kids at? Little kids, little helpless kids out there playing on a nice day, and you just shoot into a crowd of people. Harrisburg, we have to stand up. We have to solve this here, and the police cannot do it by themselves. I am asking you, anybody with information, any information, because when it comes to a homicide, it's like a puzzle. Every little bit helps. You know, we fit pieces together. I'm asking you, please, 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 on behalf of the unborn child, can we please do something about this here? I'm getting sick and tired of seeing monuments up there. You know, she was beloved by her friends. They're up there putting up flowers and balloons and everything right now. But when is this going to stop? And the police cannot do it by themselves. So I'm asking for anybody with information, please come forth. The information that you give is confidential. Your name will not be put out there. But let's bring this person or persons to justice responsible for this here horrible, horrible, horrible tragedy. Thank you. You have anything to answer?
I'm not sure about questions. If anybody has any questions, we may be able to cover a couple. Real quick, obviously the case is, take over the mic.
Go ahead.
The case is very much so still on the onset of the investigation. We're less than 24 hours in. There's still a lot of information that the detectives are trying to go through, as well as a lot of things we're trying to, as the commissioner put it out, put the puzzle together, pieces of the puzzle together.